Hi guys. Okay, I think this is a good video to let y'all know that the reason why there was a pause there, where I had a couple broken toes and a TMJ issue, is because I needed to stop and do an assessment and decide how I wanted to move forward in this. Because I was seeing a lot of people that were not getting the message of what I've been trying to explain to everyone. Now, this is important because if you're listening to me, I am moving time through timelines to a different place very quickly. I'm doing it slow enough that I can help people, but if I'm not being effective in what I'm trying to get through to everybody, then I'm slowing myself down for no reason. And so I had to decide whether or not to stay slowed down and continue to try to help people, starseeds and humans, trying to get from 3D to 5D, or to just chuck it all and just boogie on my way and get to 5D ASAP. And I'm sure that's why I had a couple broken toes and TMJ, because TMJ meant that I couldn't talk very much. Ooh, that's a tough one on me. I still have to talk this way, but I can talk now. So yeah, I had to do some meditation and assessment and really make a decision. This was important. It was an important crossroads for me. And it basically came down to, well, I came back all this way and decided to help people. And now that I've kind of get a handle on things, it'd be kind of silly to not do what I came back after I died and struggled through all that stuff to get to the point where I could really be of help, and then die and then struggle with everything that happened since 2008 when I died to now. So I basically, had a long story short, I decided to go ahead and remain slower, but I'm still going to be moving pretty fast by human time-space standards, but by my standards, I'm still moving very slow. And let me explain why this was a concern to me, and why I kept answering people, going deeper and deeper and deeper, because looking for some kind of understanding of the information that I was sending forth in these videos, whether or not it was working or not. And that's why I kept going deeper and deeper and looking harder and harder, because I couldn't see that it was working. And so therefore, why waste my time and everybody else's time? What was I doing wrong? Timeline-wise, what was I visualizing wrong? What was I not getting right in this whole thing? And I'll tell you the reason why. The stuff that I've talked to you about so far is very, very basic stuff. Okay. If you don't believe that there are aliens, you shouldn't be watching me from this point on. And today is 9/20/2017. You might find some of the previous videos interesting, but to move forward, you really must understand that there are aliens as humans know it. You've got to have kind of a basic understanding in that we all are connected. You have to at least have the beginnings of understanding you are a creator God, that your experience is unique to you, that everything, and that time and space is really kind of a game that we put together, an illusion, so to speak, that there are infinite timelines or infinite possibilities in every moment, that your human brain can only collect and sort through a very small percentage of data that your human body is collecting. Your brain, your mind can only process a small part of what your brain is collecting, and that doesn't even count plugging into the all it is, the Akashic record, each other. Okay? You need to understand that. You need to understand that you are responsible for everything that has happened in your life and will happen to you in your life. Whether that was a conscious creationary process or an unconscious one, or one that was kind of finagled by your higher self or higher selves, nonetheless, it still is your doing and it's your responsibility. And you've got to be ready to take responsibility for those actions. You have to understand that there is no such thing as good or bad, that light and dark is simply an arbitrary division that created a dualistic creation, experience, and the ultimate place that where you are as a human is in coming out of a situation where there was a request and a desire by entities to experience the lowest vibrations of what I identify as third dimension. In order to do that, there was a lot of what you would call negative things occurred, but that was the only way that those lower vibrations could be experienced, which was the request. You have to understand that the beings that are bad guys are a part of the one, and outside of this game, they are just as much gods as you are. There is no one going to pay a price for being bad. No one's going to get an extra special prize for being good on this planet. You need to understand that you've always been and you always will be, that this experience is very important, but it's very, very tiny drop of what you have experienced. Star seeds, if you're going to be star seeds, you need to understand that you are from outside this whole dualistic creation, in from experiences that can't even be explained with human words or thinking, because there is nothing to correlate for that explanation to be given. You have to decide whether or not you want to play in the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension at this time now. You need to have decided which one are you going to do. If you're going to go to fourth dimension and stay and play, then you might find my videos of interest, but they are going to probably disagree very quickly with your belief system and what you are creating. You need to understand that third dimension was based on fear, vibrations of fear, and that fourth dimension is based on judgment, very much judgment, and I'll explain that later on. And that you, in order to get fifth dimension, you can be attached to nothing, no one, no thing at all. You cannot go to 5D with any kind of fear, nor will any other being go to fifth dimension with fear of any kind, or any of the lower vibrations, despair, fear, worry, judgment. None of those lower vibrations you won't be allowed in. When you get to fifth dimension proper, when you get into fifth dimension, you will be expected to do to learn things and figure things out on your own. You can ask for help and they are going to teach you or help you do it on your own. But in the fifth dimension, there will be no one doing it for you. If you want someone doing it for you, or you want a machine or a ray or a galactic council to make your decisions for you, then that's fourth dimension, not fifth dimension. Fifth dimension, you will be doing it yourself. In fifth dimension, you will not be eating things, you will not be killing anything to live. You have to understand, in fifth dimension, the plants have consciousness too. It's just as valid as animals, and the fear that they feel when you go to eat them is not only verified with scientific data now, but it is also the truth. So we cannot have any fear in fifth dimension, so you cannot kill plants or animals in order to live at all. Now, you will be able to do instant manifestation, so you certainly can hold out your hand, ask the energy around it to produce the perfect hamburger, and eat it without killing anything whatsoever. There is some eating done in fifth dimension, but not as much as you would think. You have to understand and be comfortable with everyone around you, knowing every thought, every deed, you have ever done. You've got to be good with that. And you've got to start to get your head around the fact that you will know everything about everybody as well, and it's no big deal at all. You will understand the story from a much larger perspective, and you will see how absolutely necessary and wonderful everyone's role on every side was that created the wonderful experiences that was added to the whole. Not really added, but you know what I mean. And your experience specifically. You need to understand that the people that are in your life that cause you the most pain and despair, frequently they're very close friends of yours on the other side, and you ask, especially the humans here, or the dualistic entities, that's a better word for the long-term, what I've been calling long-term humans. I think we should call them dualistic entities. These are entities that have enjoyed and been in the dualistic creation right after the creator came up with this idea, and they've been involved with this creationary process for a very, very, very long time. And yeah, you need to know and accept that. Let's see, what else can I put on this list so that we don't have to go? You've got to understand that you can change anything in your life anytime. But most of that is belief in, it's based on old belief systems that your parents died of cancer, so therefore you are going to. Not true. Check on biomechanics, where Bruce Lipton proves that genetics do not control you, you control genetics. You have to understand that in this creationary process and law of attraction, that this is not based on human words. This is based on an agreement that we've all decided on, us together, that we will do the law of attraction thing based on vibrations. So you don't say, I want the Ferrari. You say, usually you say, I want to be happy. And if the Ferrari will make you happy and really believe it, the universe will provide it for you. And you have to believe that that's true. Because when you go into instant manifestation, there in 5D, there cannot be any doubt. You can have an understanding here that you've got belief systems that you can't seem to get a handle on, and you'll work through that process on the way to 5D, and that's perfectly fine. But you do have to believe and understand that the only reason that you can't fly is because you don't believe you can. The only reason that I can't take these glasses off and throw them away is because very, very young I was told that I was half blind. And I would always wear glasses or some kind of corrective. But however, I'm very aware that if I could get that belief disengaged, that my vision would be perfect in a split second. You have to understand and believe that the past is not relevant anymore. That you're going somewhere else. And by looking back and hashing out the past over and over and again, that just is, you're just doomed to repeat the same mistakes. And you've got to understand and believe that. Really believe that. That it can be interesting and fun, but part of how humans have gone into the lower 3D vibrations was always asking why, what, where, when, how. Now you're going back up, and your human brain, your mind, is not capable at this point to understand how this all works yet. You're going to have to start believing and trusting in yourself. That when yourself, then the inside says, no, this is the way to go. I don't know why, I don't know how, I don't know when, I just know that this is the right way. You're going to have to start following those, because we're going to be moving so fast that your brain cannot keep up. You no longer have time to go to a psychiatrist and figure out the why, what, when, where, how your past was done. You need to just accept it, that someday when 5D, you're going to be able to look back at all of it, and it's all going to make sense. Completely, it's going to make sense. You are here because you made an agreement with that person. You wanted this experience. You came to do this or that, and that's how that worked out. You will see all that. And probably you'll see a great deal of it if you start trusting yourself, going with the flow, and really believing in these things. It'll start to come together. But you just simply, there are plenty of other people out on the net right now, and YouTube specifically, that can help you with the why, what, where, when, how. I'm not going to go into how humans as you know them came to be, who the Anunnaki were, where the Garden of Eden was. I'm not going to go into all that. If I tried to teach you everything that happened in the United States over the 200 or so years that we've been here, it would take a very, very long time. I simply do not have time, and you do not have time at this point, if you're going to 5D with me, to find out everything that happened that got humans to this point over the course of within time space, trillions of years outside of time space, above, so to speak, 5D. Well, that's all in the now, and that's a whole bunch more. When you get to 5D, you will have all of this answers, all of that knowledge instantaneously. If you like figuring it out, collecting the data, trying to decide who's telling the truth and who's not, then you should stay in 4D, because you certainly can. There is historical data all over the place in regard to Earth and all of the universes galore out there that they will teach you. But it cannot be done by me to you in this lifetime. As a matter of fact, in these limited years that we have left, that I'm going to 5D. So let's spend the time on things that are important to you. How we get you to 5D. And how we get you to 5D is to understand that 3D is over with. Okay? If you drop down in vibration, I've given you the how to get out of it. I've told you the basics. You have to be happier and happier and happier, and that's the short version. How you do that moment to moment really is up to you. Okay? That is individual. There is no carbon copy that's going to work for everybody, because we're all individuals. We're not meant to do it the same way, and we're not meant to get from here to 3 to 5D the same way either. So those are the broad ways. Now it's up to you. It's like I told you, there will be people that give you suggestions to help you, but there is no one that's going to do it for you. If you've got ideas on what worked for you, please put it in the comments below my videos so that other people can read it. And as you're watching and listening to this, then what you're going to do is you're going to take something, you're going to go, yeah, I like that. We'll give that a try. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's just not feeling it right now. But go back to it. Keep that list. Because right now it may not work for you, but next week it may be perfect. So keep that list, keep that information that you can try. Use part of something, but not all of something. And for goodness sakes, on the way to 5D, there can be no judgment as to how someone else is. Okay, so whatever you do, do not judge somebody else for the path that they're taking. Each path to get from 3 to 4, 4 to 5 is unique to that individual person. Each individual person must do it their own way. That's the whole point. So you're supposed to share your way. Maybe pick up a thing or two from the person you're sharing with. Maybe they'll pick up a thing or two. But to expect them to do it like you is not going to work. And that is a really good way of not getting into 5D. Okay? So, alright. That gives you some basics on what you should be believing, and there are more, but if you can get past those are some basic guidelines. Really, 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 you have to believe in order to stay with me and move forward. Okay? Other than that, you can listen to my videos for the fun of it, but we're fixing to talk about some pretty specific things about how to get through 4D. Because guys, you think getting out of 3D was bad? Well, 4D it's got a lot of pitfalls. So we don't have time at this point, if we're going to zoom through 4D, to keep going after what happened in 3D. You've already gotten out of 3D, so good job. Pat yourself on the back, and let's move forward. Because if you're still messing around with 3D issues, you don't have to have resolved them all, but you should have kind of an idea of how the whole game works. That there are things you'll never resolve, and that's fine. That your belief systems were kind of, you were hoodwinked with them. And look at it very much like a game. And kind of like I told you guys before, on the other side we said, oh, that will never work for me. Well, you can step outside of 3D now. You don't have to die to do that. And look back and go, wow, it so did work for me. But now I know the rules of the game. I can kind of move forward. And I am here to help trigger those memories. Remember, just trigger your own memories so that you can have your experience going from 3 to 4 or 3 to 5, whichever one you'd rather do. Okay? I'm here to help you remember and do it yourself, just like I told you all the 5D entities and above are doing. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? So hopefully y'all listen to that, and if you listen to that and you're good with all those things, then go back, and you're new, then go back and watch the videos in order, basically according to date. If you're not new, then make sure that you can cover all the things that I just talked about, and that you can kind of let go of the past and not try to figure out where we are or where you're going. Because really, 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 now is the time for you to start doing this stuff on instinct. You need to be doing things on instinct. Or as was it Rich, I think it was Rich, or G-Man, whoever was taught, guys are taught to go with your gut. Okay. Ladies, instinct, gut, whichever, it's time for you to follow it more and more and more throughout your day-to-day existence. This is very important that you not stop and try to figure things out now. Okay, in your extra time, you can look back at it. Now, certainly when you get to be reading vibrations better, you can look back at it third person and find, like I did, the fascination with it. But do not run over those past events over and over and over again, because you will not move. If you go over and over and over again, the third dimensional ones, I guarantee you, you will struggle in 4D where we are. You will die, and you will make a decision there. But 3D is over here, way over. You can still momentarily drop down to a vibe, but that's not the same as staying there. And it's getting less and less the ability to even do that. You've really got to move over in those timelines in a negative way to get that done. Which tells me that you guys are entirely capable of moving the other direction towards 5D very rapidly. If I can get you off of two things, and that is struggling with your past, which is irrelevant at this point, and asking why, when, where, and how. Because you're not going to get to 5D with that. Okay? So, yeah. Right, I guess that's about it for this video. And, huge hugs. I love you bunches and bunches. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.